This episode of Beyond the Backyard is brought to you by Ultimate Archery and Outdoors, Ultimate Deer Products, Head to Tracks Incorporated, Red Life Food Plot Seed Company, Tacticam, Jay's Sporting Goods, and by Oz Cut Broadheads. Next weekend, the 13th and 14th, is the Liberty Hunt. And obviously we know that originally they had made it and we're going to make it adult only. And then they just originally changed it back a couple months ago, then make it buck again. You've had a couple of kids that have hunted in it. I've had kids that have hunted in it. And but at the same time, you're not a guy that shoots every buck out there that you see. You shoot quality bucks too, and you care about deer management, buck management. I just really want to hear, because we both know that there is controversy, negativity towards it, a lot of negative opinions on it. Whether it's the parents are shooting the deer, you get the old timers saying that, well, I didn't get to do that when I was a kid. And then you have the people that say that it hurts all the mature deer for the population for the state of Michigan. What is your personal, what have you seen from it as a father, and just being a guy that goes out and shoots nice bucks and wants to manage deer?
Honestly, for me, my kids look forward to it every year. It's like opening day for us adults, kind of thing. You know, that being said, my kids will also hunt, not just youth season. They will hunt regular season right along. They will be out there during bow season using the crossbow. They will go hunt all through regular gun season. Just gonna hunt youth season only and then be done. You know, like if you were to go out and say shoot a buck on the youth hunt, great. But I guarantee you, they're still going to come out hunt with me, even to try to watch me go do more hunting. They're still going to want to try to get a doe or two for the year's over. So they're going to continue to hunt throughout the season, regardless, one way or another. They're going to continue to hunt.
Mm-hmm.
So is what you're saying. A lot of it is a lot of people. I don't enough. There ain't enough big bucks getting shot to hurt any of that kind of stuff. And if they're people can say what they want. That deer's been around. If it's a trophy deer, it's been around 4 or 5 years, 6 years. He's already spread his genes throughout the land at that point.
Yeah.
So that genetic is still there regardless. So you took one deer out of it.
And I've said, I've had hundreds, thousands of pictures brought into me or sent into me. And I probably have had maybe a dozen that were like, I'm talking about monsters, like 140s, 150s. I'd say most of them are maybe 3.5, 2.5.
Specifically had areas picked out, had year-and-a-half-old deer showing up consistently for my kids. Went out the first year, they both got year-and-a-half out. My daughter got hers in a youth hunt. My boy shot his later on during gun season because he had to hunt up through season because we didn't have time to he didn't get one during the youth hunt. That they're out there hunting with me. If the big one shows up, then it's theirs. If they can get a shot on it, a good one, it at that point I'll cut them loose on it. You know, now they both shot in several deer. I'm like, you guys are good to go. Otherwise, I just didn't want to ruin it where they go out there, shoot a whopper, and all of a sudden they're like, well, how come I can't do this every year? That was my concern with it. So I said, I want them to actually have to hunt a little bit here. I want them to put the effort into it, which is they help me do the stands, they help me do food plot. My concern was I just didn't want them to shoot the biggest one and then walk away and say, well, that was cool, but I'm over it, you know, because if I can't shoot nothing like that, I don't want it. Well, I didn't want them. I want them to ease into it and start hunting because back when you and I started hunting, we had to be 12 years old. So we had to watch everybody else hunt for how many years, you know, like, and just, we were just waiting to get out there. We finally could get out there and do it, you know, and it was great at that point, you know. So I think we had so much built up anticipation in it that it did kind of help us to like fully commit to it at that point. And like I said, and now that this year they're both at 3.5+ year old deers, what their minimums are. They're gonna have to hunt a lot more, a lot harder now if they want to shoot bucks. They always got does that need to be shot. So I said, regardless, we are going to be able to take deer. We are going to be able to do that one way or another. You know, so I said it just depends. I said the more time we sit out here hunting, the better chance we have at shooting the big one that we're looking for. For me, I would just assume my kids shoot them anymore. I'll go somewhere else and shoot deer. Honestly, I do a lot of this here. We have a couple whoppers this year that I'm really looking forward to on a few of the farms that I'm hoping my kids can get. Honestly, I mean, they
I
both
think I
got
get
their
more
hunter
fired
safety
up for
done,
them,
and
man. I mean,
yeah, yeah, I love it. I mean, I'd rather sit back and talk them through it and record and video the whole thing. That to me is it's as good as me killing it, anyways. I mean, we had one last year that I could have killed, but it was my boy. Was up. It was his turn. I could have shot this deer. He couldn't get a shot. It was probably 130-inch 7 point. just had to watch him, you know.
yeah,
So I was like, I just gotta sit there and let him figure out that this is part of hunting.
yeah,
I mean, you can have him within range and not be able to get a shot. And he watched him for hours that morning, had him within range 6 times and never could get a shot on the deer. It just the way it played
yeah.
out. So
I
part
know.
of hunting,
I
part
know
of what it is.
my daughter's first year. I think she was 9. She hunted the youth hunt, nothing, and then we ended up going out like December, like 18. Then I think we had it was like 24 degrees, 18 inches of snow, and she was shooting a half rack, but she sat out for 2 hours in the blind with no heat
Yep,
and shot that one. Next year, she shot a really nice 11 pointer here at the new house during the youth
yep,
hunt. But then last year, she sat out for, I'm guessing, 32, 40 hours with no phone, never shot anything. She had smaller ones that she could have
yep,
shot, and she decided to pass on it. But it just showed her that, yeah, you're not going to get one every year. It's not going to. And I've told her, I said, hey, even this year, if one comes in, you can take it, or you can just wait to the regular season. So if one comes in that's not, you don't think it's a big buck or whatever you consider to be happy for you, it's okay.
yep,
You can hunt the regular season too. So I don't make it feel this pressure that you have to shoot one during the youth hunt, you know.
yep.
Um,
Oh
and so
yeah, no, we're the same way. Yeah, yeah, no,
but
we
I
we
think a lot
definitely
of
do the
people,
same thing.
this pressure out there that, or they're saying, all these kids are out shooting these bucks. Well, they're not. You can't. Not all the kids are the same way. You're gonna have kids. They're gonna do the youth hunt, and they're gonna get hooked on it. And
Yep,
just like there has been for years before the youth hunt, you had guys that probably got into it for 1 or 2 years, then got out. I mean,
yep.
you're not gonna hook everybody. That's just not the way the game goes.
And they go different ways, and I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, there's a whole lot of negativity around it. Evolution, evolving, things, technology changes. Look at the phones. I mean, all these guys that are complaining about it. Nobody had cell phones back then, but now here they are. They're just on their little phone here, and they're just going about it. Well, if you really want to get down to it, then go back everything to the old ways. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not cutting wood to heat your house, why? Like, why
But
not?
I hate the
Well, because
fact that they act like these kids are shooting their personal bucks. I mean, like,
well,
yeah, do we all
yep,
get a little gut punch when your neighbor shoots the buck you've been watching for 2 months, 3 months? Yes. But
it
at the same
happens.
time, to sit there and get pissed at a kid because they shot a
Yeah,
buck that you watched, which we know that September don't mean crap that he's going to be there in October. I mean,
the shift happens right now. Exactly. Yep.
after groups break up. I mean, it's just to me, it just seems like some of these, I'm not going to say everybody, but they're just not. We need to encourage more hunters. The numbers are dropping.
Realize that just because he's there then don't mean he's going to be there. I have deer. I'm waiting on one right now that he should be here within a week or two because that's what he was doing before. That's his MO. He summers somewhere else, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, boom, and then I won't see him at all. And all of a sudden, he comes back, and he's here, and it's like, all right, he's back again. We're good to go. I'm waiting for him. The neighbors found both the sheds across the road this last winter. I know he made it through the winter anyways through his season, but I have no confirmation otherwise of him. But yeah, I mean, I think it's awesome. I love it that it's all the focus of it is on just the kids only for that weekend. Like
Yeah.
the dad they out there trying to shoot their deer too. It's only for the kids. A lot of people say the dads are shooting all the deer.
Do I think
I'm
that
not saying
happens?
it ain't
Do I
gonna
think that
happen, but
happens? Yes, I'm sure. I'm sure there are, and I
yep,
don't think for the most part it's a dad pulling up a gun and shooting it. I think there's some dads that don't realize you can't even sight the like they put it on their tripod, they put it through the scope, and basically they think as long as the kid pulls the trigger, it's legal. And
exactly.
and I don't
Yep.
want my
So
kid. I don't want my kid to shoot a monster buck when she could. for that. I mean, there'd be no sense of pride in that. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would
Exactly.
you want your kid to shoot a 130-inch buck if you know in your
Yep.
heart that number one, they're not old enough to appreciate it. Number
Yep.
two, they all they did was pull the trigger. I want
Yeah.
them to know from A to B how to get that done without me helping them out.
Yep. Oh yeah, I mean we practice all year long shooting. You know, a lot of people say these kids can't make these shots. Well, I call bull crap. If you practice with your kid enough, and you go out, especially with rifles. I mean, rifles nowadays. I mean, I can put any kid on a lot of my rifles, and they can be shooting steel targets at 300-400 yards easily with some of the stuff I have with zero recoil behind it, suppressors, the whole 9 yards. It's stupid accurate. Down here, we don't have the luxury of hunting with rifles, but we got the next best thing with the straight walls. The straight
Sure.
walls are great for the kids, low recoil, accurate. If you put time in with them, the kids, you teach them right, the kids can shoot remarkably well. I put
Yeah,
my kids
I
through
love
paces
how they
every
put
year.
everybody into the same ball thing. Like just because their kid couldn't shoot at 8 years old, they think that
Exactly.
every kid doesn't have that attention span or have that ability to learn.
Yep. Oh, I make my kids, they got to pass my shooting test every year that I set for them. You got to make this many shots at this yards and this many shots. If you don't do it, you got to do it before you can hunt, or you're not hunting with me. That's the way I do it because you got to focus. You got to make sure that you're going to do it right because we're not going to go out there and wound deer. If you're not confident, if I'm not confident in you, we're not going to chance it. So you got to practice. You got to study. You got to make sure you can do it. They practice. They know what they got to do. And honestly, when they pull up to shoot at a deer, I almost am more sure of them hitting the deer than me shooting at one hitting it. I know that they're into it that well. You know, it's like they.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously things happen. Tripods are awesome for helping the kids out on that. You know, to hold the weapon up or whatever. Some people might frown
But the thing
against
is,
it, but the way I look
yeah,
at it,
like you should never frown
go ahead.
upon uh being ethical. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't care if someone needs a tripod or like why would you ever frown upon someone doing whatever it takes to make the most accurate ethical shot? And that's what you hear. I've heard that statement. Someone said they can't even hold a gun.
Yeah,
Like, how many people
yeah.
are freehanding shooting up there? I mean,
Exactly. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm the same way. If I'm down there in my blind, I got a tripod in there. Why would I not want to put it in there?
yeah.
If I can do that, and every time I have people over for like the late doe season around here, we shoot does. Once in a great while, somebody will say, "No, I'm good." Okay, fine. But I mean, if you want it, it's sitting right here with the slap your gun in there. You know, I mean, make it a guarantee that way, pretty much. You know, the way I look at it, and we don't. I really ever have issues that way from it. You know, so put the odds in your favor. Do everybody a favor.
If you could make any changes to the youth hunt that you think maybe, we both agree that it's a good thing, but are there any changes that you think could probably be made that are out there right now as far as, I don't know, ages or however it's done?
Um, gosh, my biggest thing that I don't like mad rush of getting it done. If it's going to be something that's going to get mounted, we got to get it skinned out. If it's got velvet, we got to get the velvet going. Preserving. We got to get the meat taken care of. Like it just turns into a rush sometimes. Things going to be good, taken care of. The meat's care of, and all that. I would like some states have them in like the third week of October. They do a youth hunt, and then they'll have another one later on in the year. Like after the regular gun season goes off. Like down in Missouri, I think they have one in third week of October. I think they have another one later on in the year, right after the gun season cuts down. I kind of like that. I think Ohio's is. Well, I took my boy down to Ohio youth hunt 2 years ago, and we were down there using rifles. I think the first week in November that they could use rifles down there, the kids. I was like, what better time to be down here in Ohio? I'm like, this is like shooting fish in a barrel. Cooler weather. We could enjoy the moment a little bit longer before all the work sets in, type deal.
I,
So,
I
but I
I
mean,
would
other
say
than
my
that, I don't really think there's. So,
I'd say
go
my
ahead.
only critique for it would be maybe two things. Is maybe to get some of the people off the back of it is have like a limit on the number of years you can do it. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if I
Yep.
completely agree with a kid being able to do it from the time they're 8 to they're 16. or so. I
Yeah.
mean, you think a junior in high school that's been hunting for 6, 7 years. Do you really need to go out and sit with them during a youth hunt? You know what I'm saying? I can see if maybe you just started, but that might ease some of the people with it. If you say, "Hey, man, get your feet wet, shoot a couple bucks, and now you're okay. You're good for the season. You're ready to go."
Along with everybody else out there. Yeah, I agree for
Yeah,
type deal.
you don't need to
So
shoot 10 140-inch bucks and then and then go into normal season
yeah,
and have a huge letdown. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly. Yeah. Which yeah, it's Michigan, so we're only gonna have so many options to shoot
yeah,
deer of certain sizes. But
yeah.
unless you have a lot of bean fields to be patrolling and watching for the right deer and all that, that'd be a whole nother deal at that point. But
People talk about like stirring up the woods before the season. Um,
yep.
would you be opposed to it if they had it where you could only use crossbows or compounds?
No. I don't think either way. I think you're gonna cut out a whole lot of your kids that would
Yeah,
typically do it, that wouldn't do it, and people might frown upon that. But some people only gun hunt. Some people only
yeah,
use archery stuff. Some people do it
true.
all.
Yeah.
For me, for guns, for me, all I ever used is, and all I've used for probably 20 years now is a muzzleloader, pretty much, primarily for gun season. And that's pretty much what I've always used. I got one shot, and that's it, type deal. Works for me. Um, that's just my way. And then there's other guys that want ARs with, semi-autos. Some guys, are fine with bolt guns. Everybody's got their thing. I don't know. I don't know if it'd make a difference.
I'm wondering if you wanted to do it in October, if you wanted to do a weekend in October, could you? That would cause even more disruption if people are worried about the noise, obviously. Uh,
Yeah. We people worry about that, say you're stirring the woods up and all that. I have my kids hunt here in my house every year, and knock on wood, we have great deer to hunt every year. It doesn't
yeah.
affect a thing. Like this last year, we did the early doe hunt for the first time here at my place, and we had one of our good deer standing 50 yards away when we shot does. Didn't realize he was there until I checked the camera, and he was, yeah, 50 yards away. And I was like, oh boy, I thought we messed up big time at that point. Well, he came back. I passed him up a half dozen times through season, found both his sheds. He's back again this year, and he's even bigger than he was last year. So
I mean, how
it
many
didn't
times you
affect
been
the
out
thing.
gun hunting during rifle season and you shoot one and they just keep on eating?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I
Or I
mean,
can
are
literally
they
shoot
really?
one. It don't mess up that much. It really don't. I think a lot of it is people just think it does, and it's going to stir the deer up. Maybe it's because we're in that shift period right now where they were seeing the deer, the youth season happens, and all of a sudden the deer are gone. They're like, "Oh, it messed all the." No, they just went to their fall home. That's all it is. If you want to have more deer, improve your habitat. That's the way I look at it. You hold all the deer you want at that point. You really almost, if you have really good habitat, it's really hard to blow deer out at that point if your habitat is good. So, like I said, if you're not holding the deer you want, change something. Don't keep hoping you're going to get a good buck all of a sudden to stick around. Change something else. That's why I look
Yeah.
at it. Improve your habitat. You'll have them at that point. It's pretty straightforward and simple. It's a lot of work, but it's that straightforward with it, in my opinion. So,
Well, and the thing about it too is that the fact is they're talking about the bucks acting like these kids are shooting every buck in the woods, and uh, we've done. Me and Tony had talked about before in a previous episode that it was only, and the Liberty Hunt is a combination of veterans and kids,
yes,
and that hunt as a whole was only, I think we figured it out with the math. It was only like 2% of the total buck shot during the whole season
which is
came
nothing.
from that hunt. Yeah, which is a pin. And
Exactly.
so to sit there and act like that hunt itself is like killing the buck population in the state of Michigan.
Yeah. The percentage of guys that are shooting 2 bucks a year is way higher than all the youths combined in killing, and the veterans there doing that combined are, honestly. So I mean, you look at it that way. What's killing our state more than anything is the 2 bucks. The liberal rules on it, which if it's right and legal, shoot whatever you want. I mean, it don't make no difference to me in that opinion. But if you want good deer, there's things need to change from what are happening for us, anyways. So,
Yeah.
which, like I said, people shooting $2 a year adds up to a lot more than all the youth hunters did. So people ain't worried about that one bit when they're shooting 2.5 year old bucks open day gun season for the first time out for the year. They think they've done something awesome. And
Man,
if they're happy with it,
these things came in 2 minutes apart.
yeah, they knocked the milk right off their lips.
Which here's the thing. I am not the guy that's going to sit here and criticize for anybody with the bucks they shoot. Shoot what you want to shoot. Use what
I
you
don't
want.
care. It's
Yep.
their tag. They can
But
do whatever they want. Yeah.
you can't criticize anybody else or
Yep.
criticize kids for shooting all the bucks if you're one of those people.
Yep. Yep. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. It's hard. The old hunter mentality. You're never gonna get rid of it till those guys are all gone. It's things are slowly turning and changing in the state, and it is getting much better than it ever used to be. But it's taken a long time to finally get even to where we are now. And it's like by the time it's where I think we want it, I probably won't even. I don't even know if I'll be alive then. It could be. It could be a long time from now. Like I'll be on my way out at that point, probably. And my kids will be in the prime of their lives, probably living up the good life. Like it's Iowa or something by that point, hopefully.
Yeah,
But
your property will be
and I
prime
hope
by
they
that
do.
point, man.
I know it better be. That's what I tell them every year. I'm like, one day this is all gonna be your guys's, and you guys are gonna have it so good you don't even know what to do. I was like, it's gonna be awesome for you guys.
You
But
got a bunch of apple trees planted out there, like young apple trees. Have you put out a bunch of?
yeah, yep. This year, what was it 3 years ago? We put a bunch of crab apples in different
Okay.
drop periods. I have a bunch of natural apples here, anyways. One of my neighbors had an old orchard, so they've self-seeded over the years. But I noticed a lot of my apples were starting to go out, so I was like, all right, we got to get on apple trees like 10 years ago now. Like we got to really get after them. So I
Mhm.
started off with crab apples because they're self-pollinators. They can get them in different season drops. You don't have to have them in pairs of two and all
Yeah,
that.
that's what my
Um,
brother-in-law's been doing. He says he has ones that drop like in June, July. I mean, they're all through the whole deer season. You can
yes.
have them.
Yep. And so at that point, in being self pollinators, you can really put them where you want in your plots, and it's a great tree to have in your plot at that point.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of that. This year, it was regular apples I focused on and nut bearing trees for oaks and stuff like that. I
Hmm.
wanted a lot of oaks. I put a lot of white oaks. I put some swamp oaks in because I have a lot of swampy, wet ground. So I don't really have hardly any oaks here in my place. My neighbors have all the oaks. So I can tell when the acorns drop because all of a sudden my deer are gone. Even with all my lush food plots, the deer will go to
Yeah, yeah. You,
acorns
and with the oaks,
over anything.
you'll definitely
Yeah.
be dead by the time those start doing.
I definitely will be. Yes. Even with lots of fertilizer, I won't make it. But at that point, yeah, when you plant trees, the best time they always say was 10 years ago. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
so we make it a point of every year we put in so many trees here, improving our habitat. We put in a lot of Norway spruces again this year, making spruce pockets for thermal cover. We had big some summer storms this year and took out a lot of our pine trees, just demolished them. Looked like tornadoes kind of went through them. It just snapped things off. And so it's like, we got to start rebuilding from that kind of stuff. So it's every year, we just keep focusing on that stuff every year. Just got to put in so many trees every year. That is the goal. Never going to come away from that until, I don't know, until I guess there ain't no more room for trees out here. I'm going to keep putting them in the ground. So,
Yep.
just keep on doing it, make your habitat better. Oh, and the diversity with it all at that point. But apples are like tonight. I finally mowed for the last time down all my trails, and literally when I was getting done, the deer were in the food plots. And I drove up out of the hills and turn around, and all the deer literally run right to the apple trees I was just mowing under, waiting for the apples to come out of there. I mowed all the grass low, and they go running right in there looking for the apples that quick. They just are absolutely loving them right now. And I have apples dropping for they've been dropping around here probably about the last month right now. And we have bucks in the yard every day looking for apples. They're not shy anymore. They're always there. Apples are a heck of a draw. They really are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and if you can get them for different times of year and stuff like that, or graft scions off certain ones that are late drops to kind of speed the process up for you. That's a whole nother thing that I'm going to really start trying to get into, start doing a lot more grafting and stuff and trying to speed those processes up for me at that point. But
Becoming
yeah,
a deer
it's
scientist,
about
man.
it's part of it, I guess. I don't know. It's 24/7, man. I mean, you live it at this point. So, and property shows for it too at that point.